How are you doing? Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Miss Linda. So today let's talk about, I'm going to share with you the Marriage Makeover guide. And this really is a guide that you can use to save your relationship. And I'll be sharing with you 4 ways that you can be loved and desired in your relationship. So as you're joining in, please say hi. Tell me where you're joining the live from. Let me know. And if you're new to my page, my name is Miss Linda. I help wives get thriving, intimate, loving marriages. Okay, so as you're joining in, say hi and where you're joining us from. Okay, so I received this email. I received this email from one of the ladies who's interested in working with me one-on-one. And she told me, Linda, I've been listening to your Instagram and your YouTube videos, and I realize I am killing my marriage dead. And I want to be loved. I want to enjoy endless intimacy. And I do not know. I know clearly something is off, but I need support in how to get back love. Okay. And I decided to just come live and share with this because I've been having a lot of conversations with women who are having sex maybe 2 to 3 times a month. No, I mean, they're not having any intimacy within 2 to 3 months. Intimacy is dead, there are constant arguments, they're home alone on Friday nights. And if this is you and you desire to be loved, to be adored, to just go for concerts and to be cherished, you are in the right place. Okay, now here's the thing, yeah, and it's also a huge learning curve that I had to go through. Yeah, one of the biggest limitations that will make you not get the love that you deserve is to think that you have tried everything. Nobody has tried everything. Nobody on this planet has tried everything. Okay, if you've not gotten expert support, if you've not gone to a coach, if you've not yet done any of my programs, or any of the programs, just know you've not tried everything, yeah? And this is a huge one because many times as women, you think you've tried a lot to do, to reset your relationship, to get the love that you want. But like I've said, if you've not gotten expert guidance, if you've not gone the same way, if you're having medical issues, you can not diagnose yourself via Google. You would go to an expert, yeah? So that's the first shift I want you to have, is you've not tried everything. Okay, nobody has. All right, and there's really no shame in acknowledging that you are in a place where you need support, you need help. All relationships go through a rocky period where there's a rough patch, and it is normal for there to be a period where there's a distance. And this is where, as any high-value woman, any smart woman would want to really equip herself with the tools and skills to, move past this and get her happy ever after. Okay, so if you're joining, just drop a hi and say hi and tell us where you're joining us from. Okay, so like I've mentioned, I will be sharing with you the 4 simple things that you can start to do to bring back desire and to actually get your relationship onto a phase where you start to feel secure, you start to feel loved, and you start to feel like, you know what, I'm actually enjoying this relationship. In fact, the other day I read something and I saw, oh, hi from South Africa, welcome. It's so wonderful to have you here, Kedi. Thank you so much. In fact, the lady who's emailed me, she's from, she's based in the UK, but she's from Zimbabwe. So yeah, thank you so much. I feel the love. Okay, so what I know with the knowledge that I have right now is that 90% of relationships can be resolved. 90% of divorces can be resolved. Yeah? And how do I know this? I went through a period where I was separated, and at some point I did not have the information that I have right now, and I was like, oh my goodness, why aren't we taught these things? Why aren't we taught to approach relationships in this particular way? And that is why I've come to realize that healthy relationships are a learned skill. And if you are at a point where you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I don't think this is it, it's chances are you do not have the right skill sets, chances are you do not have the right tools, the right practices, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, just the same way a growth mindset is not just for work. Yeah, back in the corporate days, everybody used to talk about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Having a growth mindset is not just about your career, it's really about love, a life, and it also applies to your romantic relationships. Just the same way I am also on my healthy lifestyle journey, I cannot continue eating all the chocolate cakes, chocolate fudge cakes, and salted caramel cakes every single day, and then I go and put on my jeans and I'm like, why are these things not fitting? It's because I'm not taking the right approach towards my health. And I think that's also the other perspective I'd love for us to start to shift. And it helped me when I started to realize that, hey, wait a minute, healthy love is not a natural thing, it is a learned skill. Okay, so let me share with you the 4 tips that will help you to reset your marriage. Okay, and the first mindset shift I'd like for you to have is to realize, and I'll say this again, healthy love. And what is healthy love? Relationships, your marriage is supposed to feel good most of the time. Okay, you're supposed to feel like, oh my God, this is a safe space. It's like, okay, even like on a Friday night, you're supposed to be looking forward to your hubby. And even if he has boys' night out or whatever it is, it's supposed to be like, okay, he's still going to come back to me. You deserve to feel respected. You deserve to feel loved. You deserve to be adored. That's what healthy love looks like. And for many of us, the reason why you probably are in a painful phase in your marriage is likely because you did not grow up seeing healthy love modeled. Yeah, and anyway, that is why here we are. Okay, so let me get into the tips, and feel free to drop your questions as I go through. Feel free to drop your questions. The first tip is to, when it comes to resetting your marriage and getting yourself to be desired, let me just look up my notes, is to stop complaining. Okay? Stop complaining. This is a huge one. In fact, anytime the word wife comes up, the word complain is like, it's like wife and complaint are twin sisters. Okay? We have really normalized as women bonding over struggle. I want you to even just reflect and think about the last time you were with your girlfriends. What were the conversations about? How did they go? 90% of the time, you will find that you are constantly complaining. Okay? And this is one habit that is such a negative trait that women do not realize is really toxic. Okay? So why is complaining bad? Complaining is really just shows your vibration. You're currently vibrating at a very negative level. Okay, so everything bad. What does that look like? You come home, your nanny has not done anything right. You open the fridge, and guys, I've been guilty of that. This is something I know and I work through every single day. Yeah? And the reason why I'm sharing this is because sometimes you need somebody to tell you to cut the crap. Yeah, many wives are coming to me and telling me, oh, I want to be desired, but they do not understand their role in the whole dynamic. And that's why as women, we have to be real with each other. We have to be real. If you're stepping into your 40s, my goodness, men are just checking out and going and doing whatever they have to do. We are not here to compete with men. For me, I believe we deserve to be happy. We need the right skill set. And if you're not getting the results that you want, it's probably time to look at the right approach. And if you're here probably thinking and you're like, oh my God, Linda, why do I have to do the work? So I actually tell you, you truly do not have to do anything. You can continue stewing in the negativity until whatever. There are so many people, and actually 90% of people are stuck in negativity and toxicity. However, the women who I vibe with, the women who come to me, the women who we gel, the pampered wives, they have a growth mindset because they realize whether or not it's in this relationship or you move to the next marriage, still the only constant is you. And until you ask yourself, what role did I have to play in this? Guess what? And this is just a simple universal law. You keep repeating, you keep attracting the same thing over and over again until you learn your lesson. Okay, so that is why, and I have a whole toolkit, and this is something I teach my private clients, and this is just one of the 8 behaviors. I call them the romance reapers. They just reap romance slowly. They reap romance slowly right from the beginning of their marriage. Okay, and I'm referring to relationships where your man treated you with value. I'm not talking about come we stay marriages. I'm not talking about side chick relationships. I'm getting so many DMs from actually side chicks who are taking this advice and going and using it on other people's husbands. And I'm like, my goodness, wives, can't we just like own who we are and win? Yeah, I believe that we are not here to compete. But to me, when these side chicks are emailing me, sending me messages and telling me, oh, this is working, clearly their kind of relationships they're looking for is polygamous. I'm into monogamy. It's just a testament of whatever I teach works. Okay, so like I mentioned, lessons are repeated until they are learned. That is the reason why it's really important to ask yourself, what's my role in this? Yeah, and realize that healthy love is a skill. And by the time you're at a point where you're having the same arguments over and over again, someone has to break the cycle. Somebody has to break the cycle. Okay, and in this case, if you follow my page, chances are you are the cycle breaker. And all my private clients, all my one-on-one clients, these are women who are regaining themselves. These are women who are owning their magnetism. They're building and creating beautiful family legacies as wealthy, happy wives. I think we need happier women, older women who are happier. Okay, so that's the first habit. And like I said, what I teach my clients one-on-one, there's a set of eight romance reapers. And these are poisonous habits that just crush romance. Even if your hubby went from the moon and back and proposed to you and, did everything, he loved you, these habits will kill attraction. That is why you find probably he comes back in the evening, he's just there on the couch with his phone. He may not be cheating, but he's just not there. He's become passive. One other thing you might find, you just feel like there's no more intimacy. Okay. One of the big behaviors, like I've mentioned, is complaining. And the reason why many women complain is having that negative mindset. Yeah. It's just the same way you can decide to look at a glass. Is it half full or half empty? Okay. And the one thing I tell all my clients is whatever it is that you're constantly complaining about, because you find chances are you're not just complaining about your hobby. Chances are you're complaining about your nanny, you're complaining about your work, you're complaining, you come home, you open the fridge, you don't like everything, the food, you go to a restaurant, they serve you, there's too much salt, you're like, ugh, this is not nice. And what women don't realize is this negativity is so unattractive. It is so unattractive. And the reason why there is so much complaining energy is because of a negative mindset, of a lack mindset. Okay, nobody wants to be around anyone who's constantly looking at things from the negative side. Yeah, and I want you to reflect. Let me know, what are some of the things that constantly irritate you? And one thing you could do is, if you find every single day you're complaining about your nanny, for instance, this is the time for you to make a decision. Do you want to release her? Do you want to train her? Or do you want to learn how to communicate? Within every complaint that you have is a desire. But however, if you do not have the skill to express the desire, you end up stuck as this negative Nancy that, of course, nobody wants to be around. So that's one habit that kills romance in marriages that women do not realize. You're complaining about your hubby, everything he's doing, it's not good enough, it's not nice enough, it's never enough for you. And even a clue, if your hubby has ever told you, nothing I ever do makes you happy, that's a chance. That is a sign that you're probably in the complaining zone. Okay, so that's one thing, one habit that completely kills attraction, and it's something for you to start to look into. And like I've mentioned, what I teach my clients, there are 8 habits. And the funny thing is, and this is something I realized, when it comes to marriages, it takes time. Yeah, it takes time for you to feel the effect. You probably started complaining in year number 1, but for you to feel the full effect, it takes time, because these habits just come in slowly and slowly and slowly. Okay, so for me, my question to you is, whatever it is that you're complaining about, what can you do about it? Okay, what role do you have to play within that complaining? Because that negativity is a turn off. Okay, number 2, habit that just kills attraction, and you can take down notes: control. Yes, we are brilliant women. Yes, we have our MBAs. Yes, we've gone to school. Yes, we have all these high-powered jobs. We are running multi-million-dollar marketing budgets, looking after sub-Saharan Africa, 42 countries. You are used to being in charge. So the big mistake that happens is that when it comes to the relationship, that control, and by the way, most of these habits did not just start in your marriage. Probably you are the eldest child, or you are the parenting kid. You are the one who was forced to grow up really fast, and everybody had to keep looking to you for answers. So you've learned to take charge, you've learned to control everything. So how does this manifest in your relationship? Your hubby says, don't worry about it, I'm going to fix it. Yeah, maybe you're doing a project together. This is actually a practical example. Yeah, you want to do, what starts to happen, you start to notice he stops even making the smallest decisions, like where to go. Yeah, you're driving with him, he starts to ask you, where do we turn? He wants to make a decision, he has to come to you. Now, there is a difference between major decisions, and the thing is, once you start to feel like this man is relying on me like a little baby, once you start to feel like, oh my goodness, couldn't he have just decided which route to take instead of asking me? Chances are you are in the control zone. Yeah, because you're so used to holding things together. He comes to tell you he has this investment idea, and immediately you're telling him the pros and cons. No, it's not like this. Yes, it's like that. No, it's not like this. Or even another thing, so many wives, my clients, when they come to me, they have this deep desire to be fully provided for. But at the root, they are like, Linda, how will he afford? So you see, you are already controlling a situation, and people do this unknowingly. All these things, by the way, people do are very subconscious habits. And that is why the root of my work as a coach, or any good coach, by the way, whether you choose to work with me or not, any good coach, any person you're going to seek relationship support from, should be able to tell you what your blind spots are, and they should be able to they should be equipped in terms of releasing some of these unconscious blocks. Many people say, I want to feel relaxed, but naturally, even when he comes to tell you about, oh, we do this, you're already standing up and thinking and wanting to plan, to calculate and tell him what to do. That's usually a trauma response, okay? It's usually a trauma response. It's not conscious, it's very subconscious, and at the root of every control is fear. There's usually a fear that's making you want to jump and take charge and not let him lead. And usually what happens, a man ends up deciding, okay, this woman does not need me. And one of the most dangerous things is when a man feels like he has no purpose in your life. Men need a purpose. Men are created to serve us as women. And it's not that, oh, you're not supposed to work, no. We all are supposed to be fulfilling our, we all have intellectual abilities. We all have all the gifts. We all have intelligence. We are supposed to be actualizing ourselves. But if a man feels, oh my goodness, now for this woman, she can take care of everything. I propose we do this. We go fix the car this way. You even want to tell him how to, when to take the car, when to, oh my God, it's too much. That usually comes from a control thing. And like I've said, it's a very unconscious, wounded energy that many women do not realize. Okay. So like I've mentioned, the 2 behaviors you can start to stop so that you can start to be desired again and reconnect your relationship and rekindle romance, and you realize these are all blind spots that have nothing to do with a man, okay? These are all blind spots that have to do with you and your personality. And there's no shame in realizing that you need help, that you need support, and it's just how relationships work. So like I've mentioned, I've talked about complaining, which is just negative energy. And number 2, releasing control. So these are just 2 habits out of a suite. I have 8. My clients go through 8. And by the way, there is no magic pill. Okay? There is no magic pill. You cannot expect to come and sit on a live and reconnect a marriage that's about to fall apart. Yeah? And that's why I'm mentioning that there's no shame in seeking extra support. Having sex once in 2 to 3 months is a red flag. Okay? That's a red flag. And usually, you do not need anybody to tell you. The fact that you are feeling jittery, like maybe today is Friday. Friday is a big one. If you're like, oh my goodness, I do not know whether my hubby is going to come home, whether he's going to come home tomorrow. The last time he went out and he partied till Saturday and you spent the night crying. That's a dysfunctional relationship, okay? And that is why it's good for you to start to seek support and start to seek help, okay? So drop your questions as we are going through. So I've talked about, and if you feel you need further support, feel free to send me an email. I don't know why not an email, just DM me and let's talk and see how I can best support you, okay? So let me give you 2 tips. Okay, so I've told you the 2 things you can start to do. So the first is stop complaining. The second is release control. And these are subconscious habits. Yeah, these are things that you probably have been doing way even before your marriage. Okay, and the 2 things you can start to do, and these are very simple tools. Okay, first thing is appreciation. I ran a challenge. Okay, the other day, and this was the most difficult thing. I don't know why, as women, this bothers me so much. I do not know at what point did we realize that we are supposed to live with men. It's like we are at war. I'm 42. There's no fucking way, and I'm going to speak the way I speak. I'm waiting to reach 50 in a marriage where I'm not enjoying travel, intimacy, where we are not growing. I'm not going to stay in a relationship that's not like that. And to me, it really bothers me so much that we've set our standards so low. Yeah, we've set our standards for ourselves so low for relationships, for marriages. Why? Why is it that when we are talking about dating, we are teaching women how to attract men, how to attract quality men? They're supposed to do the work. And then when it's supposed to be marriage, it's supposed to flow naturally. Why are we so naive? Why are we so naive? Why did we buy into the lie that society taught us that love is supposed to be like a fairy tale? We are not in Cinderella, my dear. This is not Cinderella. Yeah? And I wish somebody told me all the things I'm telling you right now. I would have really avoided 6 painful months of separation. And the one thing about relationship, in fact, there was another client. She came to me and she had hell. I almost did not work with her because she had already signed divorce papers. She was like, Linda, I've already signed my divorce papers. Do you know, I had a conversation with her, And of course, she just kept procrastinating because, of course, you do not know. Yeah, the thing is, I cannot give you a magic pill. If your habit is not the one for you, if you do the work with me for 12 weeks and he decides that he doesn't want you, there is no control. We cannot control what men do. Yeah, the only thing I can control, the one thing I can guarantee is you will be equipped with your tools, your skills, and you will have like your own toolbox. Even if you leave this relationship and go into the next marriage, you will know what is up. You will know what's going on. Okay, so why am I speaking like this? It's because procrastination. So many women are procrastinating. You're waiting, you're sitting. What are you waiting for? Yeah, and for me, relationships is just one of those things that the longer you wait, the bigger the damage. All right, so the first thing is appreciation, and this is just supposed to be like, is positivity. And what is appreciation? You're not pretending, you're not faking, you're just paying attention to what's happening. Okay, so if he picked up groceries, it's just to say thank you, babe. That's it. It's to say, oh, it feels so wonderful to be looked after. That's it. Yeah, and you will notice you can only start to feel at ease appreciating if you're not in your complaining, controlling energy. The reason why appreciation feels difficult is because of your consciousness right now. It's very negative, it's very toxic. It's like, so until you start to unlearn the control, the complaining, and the other 8 habits that I teach my private clients, then it starts to become easier to do things like appreciation. And of course, this does not apply if you're in a violent marriage. Okay, I assume we all have common sense. Please let common sense apply. Okay, I'm just talking about relationships where your hubby truly loved you from the beginning and you were his dream woman, but now you're just noticing a distance coming in. Okay, so first thing is appreciation. Like I've said, you're not pretending anything, you're not faking anything. It's simply acknowledging whatever that's happening around you. Can be as simple as groceries. That's it. If he opens the door for you, that's it. Just say thank you. And it was interesting in the challenge, some women were able, just with this one tip alone, I got women telling me they were able to be intimate after like a month or 2. I got private messages, women telling me, Linda, my goodness, it's been 2 months. This man grabbed me. Yeah? And why I'm also saying this is because we've been lied to. Society does not want you to know the power of feminine influence. That is why I do this work. Because everybody will tell you that a woman is weak. That's why so many people think femininity is weak. It's not weak. It's really kryptonite for men. And once they know, you realize who you are, you value yourself, you understand the opposite sex. Because, by the way, men operate very differently from women. And it is up to us to understand. Because at the end of the day, I want my son to grow up seeing, oh my God, this is what a happy woman looks like. Therefore, at least I would have done my role. And I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to bring up my child in a healthy home, such that even if he gets one of your daughters as his wife, at least he will know that a woman is treated like this, and I've been able to do my role and passed along a legacy that's not just about millions and billions in the bank account. Okay, we need millions in the bank account, we need billions in the bank account, but we also need to teach healthy love to our children. Okay, so that's the first thing, appreciation. And number 2, acceptance. These are a huge one. A huge part of my work in my 12-week program, my 12-week one-on-one program, is we go through, we start to look at what are your non-negotiables. And this is some deep work that we do. Okay. My work is not rooted in chasing. My work is not rooted in, being submissive. All these things people are taught just to diminish yourself. Yeah, and that's why, in fact, the other day I was saying, why do we have conversations about goat wives and side chicks? Why? Is a man a limited resource? I don't know. The last I checked, no, he's not. Yeah, so it's not about chasing, but it's also about being wise and understanding how love works and how this world works. Yeah, nobody is going to be rewarded for being nice. Nobody is going to be rewarded for being the most loyal. There's no reward. Yeah, and that's why you have to be smart and learn whatever you need to learn. Okay, so the second thing is acceptance. A huge thing I see is, and this is such an underrated thing, everybody loves acceptance, especially men. Yeah, now a big thing with women, we like to change men. I don't know why. Anyway, it happens. Probably it's the nurturing side, I don't know, where you want to go and rebuild this man. He chews in a certain way, you want to teach him. You want to be his mother and teach him how to chew. Yeah? Acceptance is really important. Why? Because men crave a space where they can just be. They crave a space where they can just feel safe emotionally. However, if at any given point, and this does not mean, when I say acceptance, it has to be rooted on what are your values, what are your non-negotiables, what can you tolerate. That's why anybody who comes to ask me, my hubby is cheating, what do I do? I'm like, the fuck am I supposed to tell you? You should know what your non-negotiables are. Nobody can tell you what your non-negotiables are. But the work I do with my clients, I guide them through rediscovering what are their non-negotiables for the woman they are now versus and where they are going. Yeah? Because the past is the past. The past is the past. In fact, if anything, you get out of this live, just close the door. If you're looking to recreate your relationship, close the door on the first chapter of your marriage and start to go through your rebirth. Yeah? So why is acceptance important? Because people crave space where they can just feel at ease. People crave space where they are understood, where they're not always being judged. Yeah? So if your hubby wears certain clothes, maybe he's a sneakers and jeans kind of guy, and you like, what do you call these things, suits and ties. So you want to start telling him how to not wear his jeans and sneakers because you like suits and ties. Meanwhile, you married this man the way he is. And plus, how much of a big of a deal is it how he decides to dress? Really ask yourself. And then the other thing, the people who really are harsh and judge other people harshly. Like if you're looking at me and you're like, oh, this woman, what is she saying? Chances are you judge yourself so harshly. It's usually a projection of what you're feeling inside. So if you're looking at your hubby and you're thinking, why is he wearing like this? And bear in mind, these are things that really are not that important. They will not add, it's not your boundary that he has broken by him wearing whatever he's wearing. He's just choosing to be him. Yeah? So acceptance becomes important such that you realize, okay, what are the things that I can live with and what are the things that I cannot live with? And realize that you cannot accept another person if you've not accepted yourself. You cannot accept another person if you've not accepted yourself. And many of us have grown up talking to ourselves so harshly, like even standing and looking at yourself in the mirror with your pot belly and your cellulite. I don't know how you'd speak to yourself. Yeah? And this is the work that we go into. Any good coach, any good mentor would take you through in depth in terms of really understanding where some of these behaviors and shortcomings are coming from so that you can get the relationship that you want. Okay, so like I've said, the two behaviors that you can use, and with this I take my clients through 4 of them. I've shared 2. Okay, that is appreciation and acceptance. And like I've said, give yourself a 7-day challenge. Pick one thing for the next 7 days. I want you to just appreciate your hubby every day. Whatever small little thing. And I'm not talking pretending. It's just really paying attention. Yeah, there's a universal law, what you focus on expands. Okay, Play with yourself. Yeah, it's like when you're so used to writing with the right hand, writing with the left hand feels unfamiliar. Not because it's wrong, but it's because it's unfamiliar. And many of us have taken in a lot of toxic behaviors unknowingly. Maybe from childhood, you grow up seeing your parents relating in a certain way. Maybe from, school, maybe your past experiences with your boyfriends, society, all these things, by the way, have a huge imprint in terms of how you think, your unconscious, conscious, and subconscious thoughts, and just your patterns when it comes to love. Yeah, so play around with this, and like I've mentioned, this is just a tip of the iceberg. And this, what I do with my private clients, it works. And if it doesn't work, chances are this man was never really meant to continue the rest of your journey with you. Okay, so let me see if there are any questions. If you're interested, I'm offering some relationship assessments. Oh, thank you. Assessments. If you're interested in getting your own personalized strategy, it's a 30-minute call. I will get to listen to where you are right now, give you a blind, figure out where you're getting stuck so that you can recreate your relationship and rekindle your love. I only have 10 slots available starting from next week. So if this is something you're interested in doing, so that you can rediscover yourself and, get intimate Friday nights back, travel, gifts, all this yummy stuff, feel free. Oh, and intimacy also. Feel free to reach out to me. Just DM me the word love and I will get back to you. All right. So I have a call right now coming up. So I will leave you. I don't see any questions. Should you have any further questions, feel free to DM me. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.